Hello, good
Hi.
morning.
So how's the fight this week?
Um, well, there's the warm sunshine makes it all a little bit easier, I think. Uh, it's been a bit for our spring to finally catch up to us. It's been very wet and messy, and now it's finally warm and sunny, and I don't know. Somehow that just makes me happy. So,
Oh, good. Yesterday when we got up, it was gray and it was 31 degrees and the wind was blowing 15 miles an hour. We actually have a pretty good day
oh,
today.
oh my gosh, 42. I think it's already 80 here.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, we'll
yeah.
we'll make it clear up to so yeah, today's low was 34 and we're gonna make it clear to 65.
Oh man. Wow. That makes the lake really cold, I think.
Yeah,
Or the river, or wherever your
yeah.
water. Yeah.
Even in the summer it's cold. It's
Hmm.
funny. We wear wetsuits here a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
We wear wetsuits a lot.
Uh,
Yeah, I was this was years ago, but I did my scuba diving certification, and anyway, we went up to a reservoir that's not far from here, and the water was 34 degrees.
holy smokes.
Yeah, it was pretty cold. It was March.
Yeah.
It was March though when we went. I mean,
Okay.
but yeah,
Yeah.
34
Well,
degrees. The the horrible part of it was is it was one of our open water test. Uh, anyway, the instructor came by and pulled our mask off and handed it to us.
oh, yeah.
Had to clear it, and the problem with 34-degree wet water is you can't feel your face.
Right.
trying to clear that mask. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That sounds like extreme certification. Not let's go scuba in the Caribbean or something.
Yeah, let's go have fun. Yeah,
Huh.
and then our final one. You didn't you didn't get on here to hear these stories, but our final one, there's a river in Yellowstone Park. It's called Firehole, and it's heated. It's thermal.
Mm.
It's geothermal heated, and so the water's really warm, and I mean it's quite comfortable. And people go swimming there. There's a cliff that you can dive off of, and so anyway, it's about 42 feet, 40, 42 feet, depending on where you are in the pool, but there's a waterfall. And so you could dive, we were scuba diving, and so we dive up underneath the waterfall. You've got all these bubbles,
Yeah.
the air's just charging in there, and you'd get vertigo, and so you'd have to just let go and let the current take you down to where it would clear
Oh my
up.
gosh.
You'd be upside down, or you didn't
Yeah.
know which way was up because of all that churning.
Oh my gosh.
And the water was clear enough you could see the people dive off of the uh, cliff into the pool where we were.
Huh.
I want their feet, so they would dive in feet first. That's just what you do when
Yeah.
you're out in the wilderness. People that dive in head first, they're crazy, I think. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's a good way to end up with a broken neck. But these people would jump off of this and they'd dive in, and their feet would come about, I don't know, 12, 18 inches away from us. We'd just be laying on our back and watch them dive in. I wanted to reach up and just grab their
Oh.
head,
Oh my gosh. They would freak out so bad.
but I knew I had to get out of that water somewhere.
Yeah, they would find, yeah. It's pretty hard to run with uh flippers and scuba gear on.
Well, and like I say, you have to get out somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
I always thought that'd be fun. They'd dive in and just all
Mm.
you wouldn't even have to grab them very hard. Just
Mm-mm. Yeah. Any extra touch, people would just wig out. Like, oh my gosh, what is in here?
What got me? What got me?
Huh.
What got
Wow.
me? So, well, what have you been writing about this week?
Um, Not much, unfortunately. Uh, yeah, honestly, I want to share something with you later, but I think I've got the first episode ready to launch.
So,
So,
just a video or?
yeah, the podcast video. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah. So
Are, are we going to
I've
be
been
famous?
no, we are not going to be.
That's not what we're
Uh,
working for, huh?
no, but I did show it to a couple people, and they agreed with me that it's worthwhile. And I said, well, yeah, I mean, this was kind of the idea. You know, we've been having these 30-minute conversations for a long time, and nearly every time we feel like, wow, this is really productive use of our time, and we both get something out of it. Maybe somebody else could get something out of it. So how hard would it be to record it and share it? So
Put it out, yeah.
there we go, the birth of a podcast. And so the challenge
Wow.
for me then was to, because of what I know about how social media works and YouTube and all that, you have to you have to create some kind of a advertisement or a teaser kind of a thing. You can't just put up a 30-minute video. Nobody's going to sit there and watch a
Yeah.
30-minute video. So then how do we make a 1 minute something, or even better, something like 10 seconds that would compel somebody to go find the thing? I'm like, well, I don't know that I can find something in 10 seconds, but I did piece together a few little bits that added up to about a minute. And that's what I want to show you, because it's kind of funny.
What me trying to be short?
Yeah. No, it's just the humor that you know, we are entirely unplanned, and the things that we talk about just kind of happen, and that it can be worthwhile, and we kind of have fun with it. And I just think that's kind of neat. You know, I've seen enough podcasts to tell that, you know, it's virtually all scripted, and they have prompts and topics that they have to cover, and, you know, a list of questions, and it's all very regimented. And um, we're the complete opposite of that.
Oh
And
no.
I think that's great, because it's it's raw and it's real. And I think people might like that. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, and I've got it in my journal. I had to dig it out, but early on in our marriage, there was this newspaper article, and it had a picture. Man, it's been so long since I've seen it. I can't remember. I can't believe I remembered this, but anyway, it has this picture of this herd of cattle, and it says when you follow the herd, how does it go? When you anyway, essentially, don't go with the herd.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah, that's what everybody's doing.
Yeah, we here in Idaho, they're not far from here. It's on the Snake River. So the Snake River is one of the major rivers in the United States. You probably knew that. It runs into the Columbia. It becomes the Columbia River, and there's a place down by, where is that? It's by American Falls. So it's in southern Idaho. Towards, it's kind of in between American Falls and Twin Falls. It's called Massacre Rocks,
Hmm.
and there is so west of where I live right here, there's this huge lava flow, um, or lava, like everybody else says. We say lava around here, but
All
it's
right, whatever, that's fair.
but anyway, there's this huge lava flow that, and part of it they call Hell's Half Acre because you don't you don't traverse this thing. It's just a bunch of lava flow.
Hmm.
I don't know if you've seen Hawaii where it's active, and they've got all the black rock. So we have a lot of that here.
Oh wow, okay, I didn't know that.
And if you dig down right where my house is here, you'll run into that black rock. There's enough lava flow around here that it's part of the Yellowstone ecosystem, and I don't know if you're familiar with that, but apparently over where Yellowstone Park is and the surrounding area, there was a mountain there that was actually bigger than Everest, and it
Hmm.
exploded years ago. They've found pieces of this mountain clear down in California. Um, so anyway, that what I'm telling you is there's a lava flow, and there's um, a lot of places where there's just these black cliffs right up against the Snake River. But the Native Americans, the Indians that lived right there in that area, they used to gather the buffalo, and they would kind of drive them towards these cliffs, and then the buffalo would just follow each
Uh,
other off of this cliff. That's where I'm headed, is don't follow the herd
yes.
because it'll take you right off at the cliff. So anyway, your point, we're a little bit different because we're off the cuff and not
Yeah.
scripted here. Maybe
Yeah.
we've got something. We're not going to go off the cliff and die at massacre.
Yeah. Right. That sounds like a great plan. Let's not do that. Yeah.
Anyway, they drive the buffalo off of these rocks, and then they would go down and gather them up and process them, and
Hmm.
instead of chasing them down with bows and arrows and taking the risk there, they would just scare the herd to where they were running away from them and just
Wow.
right off of the cliff.
Huh.
Massacre rocks. So there you go, a little Idaho history for you.
Yeah. Well, um that just reminds me this idea of how much humanity behaves that way.
We
We're
do.
making light of it for something silly like a podcast, but isn't it so true how we've seen it all throughout history and even today where um, people will get riled up and they don't even know why, and they're
Yeah,
just following along, you
yeah.
know, and and we often look at them and say, "Wow, look at how they act like sheep," and without really considering how
I'm a sheep
we're
sometimes.
yeah we're all pretty guilty of following the crowd and behaving as though we're so worried about standing out or being different or not fitting in or whatever. And man, isn't that a challenge for our values and convictions sometimes?
Yeah, I was doing a radio show. I don't know if you knew this or not, but I did a radio show a while back, 20 years ago. A friend and I had a radio show on talk radio, and
Nice.
there was a kid that he was taken prisoner by the Al was it Al Qaeda? No, it was by the Taliban
Mm.
in Afghanistan. Anyway, we had his father on as a guest, and he was talking about what was going on, and they were trying to get him back, and the government was resisting, and blah blah blah. It turns out that this kid had surrendered himself to the Taliban and essentially had deserted his post. Um, so we had a little egg on our face.
Wow.
So we kind of followed the herd with that, and
Yeah.
I guess the point that I was making there is we got caught up in that and really didn't look at it all the way through and get all the
Mm.
information. And so
Yeah.
it really is you know, I tell you about Massacre Rocks, but you think about it, if one buffalo had just stopped and said, guys, we don't know where we're going here.
Yeah,
Let's think about this for a second.
yeah. And I've seen that too in the animal kingdom. In fact, there was a video I saw on LinkedIn recently, and they were making some point about leadership, of course, but it was, it may have been, I don't know, some kind of a giant beast, wildebeest probably, and they were all running away, and it from a lion, and a lion was chasing them, and they were going across this road, and a car happened to stop and was filming it, and one of the wildebeest turned around and faced the lion and just said, enough. And the
Yeah,
lion just kind of cowered back and took off. And it's like that one wildebeest, by changing his mind from following the crowd and running away, he turned around and said, no, that's enough. We're not,
just
just stop it. And
wait,
it worked.
yeah, wait a second. Hey,
Yeah.
let's think this through here.
Yeah.
There's
So gee whiz, if a wildebeest can do it in the face of a lion, then who are we when some wackadoo on the news is trying to get
whatever.
us riled up, right? Jeez.
Yeah, it's just taking that pause, and Stephen Covey talked about that, and I mean, there's many that have talked about that, and just take that pause and say, okay, wait a minute,
Yeah.
stop,
Yeah.
stop. Let's,
Yeah.
let's think this through. Yeah, and anyway, well, here we are talking about our podcast and haven't even talked about anything yet, but there we go.
Yeah. Well, I think it's good though, because we're addressing an
Yeah,
important relevant idea here, following the crowd. And where is the crowd leading us now?
yeah,
Geez, the news is filled with, you know, um, we should be in an uproar about all of these crazy ideas, and I don't even want to get into the ones I'm thinking of right now, but you can probably imagine whether, we're in election season or, social issues, and
yep,
it's like, my goodness.
yep. Let's stop and think for a minute, guys.
Yeah.
So I think I've recommended this book, 10x is easier than 2x.
Mm. Yes, I've heard of that.
Anyway, I'm going through that again, and it's interesting. It's another principle. I mean, this is probably the fourth time I've been through it, and it's like I don't remember that piece.
Mm.
It's like rediscovering. But he essentially talks about that same thing, that just stop for a second, quit
Yeah.
following. And the point he's making is we try and improve ourselves, and where we get stuck in 2x is that we forget that if we just go faster doing the stuff that we are currently doing, we're just going to get what we're getting twice as fast.
Mm. Mm.
And so, you've got to stop and just say, okay, wait a minute. Are the results I'm getting from what I'm doing what I want? And if they're not, then maybe I need to change my direction. And the idea there is that you're giving up 80. It's the 80/20 rule, and he says you've got to give up the 80% that we just get so locked in on, and we're scared of loss because we're comfortable with that, and it's uncomfortable to give up the 80%. And then he ties it to an identity, and
Oh, wow.
that's
Yeah.
that's the piece that I don't remember that piece. Anyway,
Yeah.
he said you've got to take on a new identity, and I think that's a lot of what society, they're looking for leadership, they're looking for an identity, they're looking for something to follow. And if we're not careful, somebody will assign that identity to us, and
Absolutely.
then pull us along.
Yeah.
So
Isn't that so counterintuitive, though?
yeah,
Like everything that's supposed to be good for us, it's counterintuitive. We're progress feels good, but to think that, um, that could be a deception also. That's heavy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there could be a lot more progress if we would kind of flip things over, but we're unwilling to because we're feeling good about whatever is progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely get stuck there.
You know, it's like that wildebeest. Well, I've got to run faster, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, great. You'll just get there twice as fast.
yeah. Wow. Huh.
But just turning around and taking that risk and stopping and saying, no, no, we're done.
Yeah.
And the lion goes, oh, wait a minute, you're not running. Now what?
Yeah. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Maybe.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like the
Hmm.
dog out in the countryside, you know, the farm dog that finally caught the car. Now what do I do?
Yeah. Yeah. How much of our life is spent in that kind of aimless running at top speed? Hmm.
So, what's the moral of the story today? We've kind of gone to the master
Well,
crux here.
yeah, that's really convicting.
For
I
me,
think it requires some sober self-assessment, you know, to your point of just the pause and to say, what am I really doing here and what am I actually accomplishing? Because maybe I'm maybe I'm a little off track and there's a different way to do even more or better. Um,
and what do I want to accomplish?
oh, yeah, how about that?
You know,
Yeah, even is what we're doing getting us to where we want to go. I mean, we're so busy running on the hamster wheel that we may not even know that answer.
I was going to say, if we don't know where we're going, you know, we'll just get there twice as fast.
Yeah,
So,
man, well, that's good.
okay, so this weekend, let's decide where we're going.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, where are we going? Hmm.
Look at that. I've got the sun.
I know it's drilling a hole right in your head.
Good. All right. Well, I better let you run.
Yeah, this was good.
So go do something fun this weekend besides deciding what you're going to do.
Yes, I hope that will include pedaling my bicycle. That's it's time.
I would encourage that.
Yeah, yeah. All
Chad,
right, well,
Chad, as always, it's always a delight to visit with you. Thank you.
yeah, likewise. This was
You.
really good.